Welcome back to the Jesse Rucinski show. It's a good one. I'm gonna try not to, explode or drag it out very long, but it is a good one. And it's what the president said, the members of the DNC at that retreat, I believe that was in Philly. That if we let Republicans take control of Congress, think about it would have been the last 2 years if we were there. It'll be a sad, sad 2 years for the country. Like, I actually want to know what you have to be on at this point to actually believe it, follow along with it, argue with people when they say that I don't understand. I don't think anyone really can understand, but coffee cup. Hey, there we go. If you're watching the video, yeah, the numbers are appalling. The country right now is appalling. The world is a complete sandwich. It's just I don't understand. I really don't understand how anyone can argue with anyone over that or still be on the side of any of this and think that things have gotten better, because I can tell you just from actual legitimate numbers, they haven't. Not by a long shot in really important categories. There's a lot of bad stuff that's happened just in the short of 14 months. That they've been, they've had the power and he's been in office and all of that, 14 months. And just look at everything that's happened and has gone down. And yet everyone keeps blaming us or Trump still, even though this is all of their policies and their everything that they've been pushing down everyone's throat. Somehow it's still everyone else's fault but their own. And somehow idiots still support, and that's why we are where we are. I mean, you got to be really that brainwashed and indoctrinated to not understand just how bad of an only year it's been, let alone 2 years that they're talking about. It has been an atrocious year. One of the worst ever, probably the worst ever. It doesn't make any sense whether you're talking about the border, drug seizures, crime, Afghanistan, everything happening in Europe right now, COVID, the economy, how much our allies love us and all the things they've done them dirty for, gas, prices, price of food and everything else. There's an atrocious amount of numbers to disprove everything they're saying, and yet people just keep eating it up like it's the gospel, which is, I don't know, terrifying is the appropriate word. Sad. It's pathetic. It's kind of amazing in a way that people could, you bring up that, those numbers, they don't tell you anything that he's done good. They're just happy he's not Trump. Look at all the stuff that's gone downhill just since then. Is it all his fault? No, is a lot of it his fault. Their policies, their spending, their idiots that they put in charge just so they be the most inclusive ever. Just to, yeah. Sorry, it falls on them, incompetence and all of that. And yet here we are. And sad 2 years of Republicans getting charged. That's just, I don't know. But jump into the meat of all this, because we know I love numbers. Never used to, I don't know why, but numbers on stuff, actual facts just disprove everything. So let's go down to the border. Here we go. 2018 apprehensions, going all the way back then, 521,090. 2019 was at 977,509. 2020 was at 458,088, bringing a 3-year total at 1,956,687. Biden's first year, 1,734,686, and that's just the apprehensions, not the getaways and people that they straight up just missed and didn't know got in. Yeah, it does happen. But a total difference between Trump's last 3 years and Biden's first year is 222,001. Unaccompanied minors was up 163%. Family units, 128%. Single adults, 209%. Highest number in over 25 years. And everyone's touting that it wasn't, you know, an emergency. There wasn't a problem there. There wasn't anything there. Everything was okay. We were all crazy. Like, no, that's like, oh, that's millions. Easy with the getaways. And, the criminals, child molesters, people on the terror watch list, like all the people that they did get, how many of them just slipped through? And they lied about their age and everything, like the kid in Florida that ended up killing a guy. Like, are they all bad? No, but is that obviously a problem that you can't blame on Trump? Because Trump's last 3 years combined barely beat Biden's 1 year, which is still going, by the way. Like that's actually abysmal. Then we get to the drug seizures there, which led to us, we hit six figures for the first time ever as a country and drug overdose deaths, which is a shame. But seizures for meth was up 13,000 pounds, cocaine up 29,000, and fentanyl is up 6,500. Inside like the first 2 months of this year, like they were already up to almost, they were up over 1,000 already. So they were a quarter of what Trump's like last year was. And they were a tenth, really, 11th of the way to where they were the year before. And this was like December when the number came out. So I know it's way, way, way higher now. But those are really, really bad things, especially now during a pandemic when people are out of work. The systems are all, allegedly pushed to the max. You saw people just laying on top of each other during all this. You can't go to church, but they can cram, be at 1,000% capacity in one of those facilities down there. That's perfectly fine. Which again, if you actually have a brain, you think about it, that doesn't make any sense at all. For that, and that was actually really sad to see how those people got treated. And again, the overdose deaths, and we saw videos of children just getting dropped over fences and left. We hear all the stories about all the cartels and everything they do to people because they're not just getting through there. Cartels are going to snatch up all of them. They're going to get theirs, making money hand over fist. But yet somehow it wasn't a crisis, an emergency, it wasn't anything. I had nothing to see here, perfectly fine. And all the people that normally freaked out about it, again, they're Democrats, so they didn't care. And see them down there crying and all that. Now they're telling people they're not allowed to go down there. No, they did everything they could. Fox can't fly the drones. No one can do this. So Fox started going up in the CBP helicopters with them and doing all that. Like no access for reporters or like it was just abysmal the way they handled that. Then we get to crime. We got lots of places with records for homicides: Philadelphia, Indianapolis, Columbus, Ohio, Louisville, Baton Rouge, Albuquerque, Tucson, Austin, Portland, Rochester, Toledo, St. Paul. It just keeps going. It really, really does. Like the numbers are up. The Council for Criminal Justice did some numbers and up 5% overall. Aggravated assaults are up 4%, gun assaults up 8%, burglary down 6%, larceny down 1%, drug offenses down 12% because they're not arresting a lot of them. Motor vehicle theft is up 14%. I told you all about the stories like Uber Eats driver that got taken out by those two teenage girls. Into the ground, stole his car, ran him over, totaled the car out right down the road. Like all that happened under them. Saying during the chaos, really, of 2020 that happened. But you see all the carjackings and all the burglaries in broad daylight. If you actually turn on like news, people just snatching stuff out of stores and walking out, no one doing anything. Like it's all very real. It is. And in places like New York or San Francisco, if it's up to a certain amount, they won't touch you, which doesn't help anything. And if we're going to get into those homicides, I mean, look at a lot of the places there, like Austin, St. Paul, Philadelphia. A lot of them like wanted to, took money out of their police funds by the millions because, they had to spend it on other things, and then all this crime went up. But yet they're still trying to get more defunding. If you ask like Ilhan Omar, still saying they need to dismantle it because she's, out of her mind, I guess, because the numbers are there. I mean, it doesn't take long to find them. especially if you're her. She has goons that can do it for her. Work in her office. She has staffers that can look all this stuff up for her and give it to her plain as day. It's right there. She's in the Fed. I'm sure she can find it on her own computer because of her clearances and everything. I'll show you the numbers are actually going the way we don't need them to since we took money away, which is why a lot of places that defunded them are then looking for millions more to put back into them. Believe it or not, less police means criminals are going to do more criminal things because they know no one's going to stop them. I thought that was a common sense thing, but apparently I was wrong on that. It does happen. I am wrong every once in a while, believe it or not. It's ridiculous that I am, but the numbers are bad, getting worse. Afghanistan, complete dumpster fire that was. Mister, I was talking to my people, and they testified, said they didn't hear from him for 10 days. He didn't talk to any allies. And like Boris Johnson took him like over a week to do that. Said they didn't know anything, even though they were getting reports for months and months that, Taliban was taking over the country. Like literally for months, they were getting reports until it was absolutely done. Then suddenly they cared. Left behind tens of billions of dollars worth of equipment that got in the hands of our enemies. People got left behind. We lost our first service members in years. 13 of them, something that we knew was coming, when it was going to happen, where it was going to happen, and it still happened. And then they retaliated and said they got one of the planners, even though it's just an innocent guy and like 12 kids or something like that. Yeah, the number off the top of my head. And no one gets held accountable for any of that or the mass stupid that happened there, the scenes that we saw, people hanging off airplanes because they did it so wrong. And then, well, we're not in there anymore. Yeah, and they moved right on. They didn't talk about it. They left it off of his like accomplishments list for his first year in office, which is funny when you think about it. They made such a big deal. It was the greatest airlift in history. Yeah, it didn't have to be. You did it in the wrong place. You abandoned Bagram and our allies there, which is didn't help them at all fighting against the Taliban. We're supposed to trust the Taliban to do our security, even though we were just shooting at them like the day before, which is just mesmerizing. We saw how that worked out, and we didn't see any of that for a couple of years. Didn't have any new conflicts for the first time in years before he got back into office. It's amazing, which gets us to everything happening in Ukraine, and how they didn't do anything. They said the sanctions were supposed to deter him. That Joe Biden himself comes out, they were never meant to deter him. And they say he didn't lie. Well, he did say it. They all said it for weeks on end. I said it wasn't going to do anything. It was dumb. And how that's all gone down, the lack of response from a lot of people, the confusion. And also, it goes hand in hand with what North Korea is doing with all those missiles, with China and Taiwan, because we know that's going to happen sooner than later, and all the stuff they're doing. It's just a lot of bad people doing a lot of bad things over on, the other side of the planet. And when you think about it, Russia really isn't that far away from like Alaska. It's right there. Like there's lots of bad things they could do. And like we're not doing any favors for our allies or anyone, which we are supposed to be, improving. And look how that's all went to hell. The helicopters, there was helicopters, sub sales that we screwed. Was it France? And they pulled their people out of the consulate over here for the first time like ever. It's just so much dumb stuff has happened with all of them. So that didn't, get any better, make anything any happier. People like COVID. How about that? He came in telling everyone they had no vaccines, even though he got vaccinated before he got into office. But, as I digress, let's not go and get into that again in the lives. But like, he had vaccines, therapeutics, all this jumpstart. Trump didn't have everything and anything, and they blamed it all on him. It's all his fault. He's the worst human being ever created. La da 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 da. It's all on him. Yet Joe Biden comes in with all these vaccines, therapeutics, all this knowledge, and we lost more people in that first year under him than we did under Trump, with most of the country vaccinated, and a lot of people forced to get vaccinated. Like, so that's not any better. So how is it going to be sad? Like, it's astronomical the level of stupid that people did. And literally, I know people are screaming at me saying it was all Trump's fault. Like, well, he did the travel ban that they told him not to. He was listening to his advisors, like he was just doing it. And then Joe Biden came and he had, ventilators taken care of and vaccines, and he lost more people. And we had all of that, which kind of actually pathetic. But again, that's not a leadership problem. That's not a him problem. Because Donald Trump didn't, leave enough stuff, which is absolutely idiotic and abysmal if you listen to that. The job numbers were still not where we were pre-pandemic by millions. Try to say it's the best economy ever and it's booming. It's not at all. At least, jobs wise, and you look at inflation. Inflation really, really, really is bad. Like the price of the 5 dozen egg thing at Walmart, it should be like $5. It's up to 10. It's like, well, sometimes the price of things go up like by double. Like pre-sliced deli meat that I bought, that was the same price for years and years, literally doubled between January 19th and when I went back on January 21st to get more, that first, right after inauguration. Like everything has been up and going up and is still going up. If you can find it, because I know people that can't find certain things. Gas is astronomical. Like it should not take me $53 to fill a Honda Accord ever. That is an absolute fact. That is ridiculous. And I know people are paying way worse because they're in other parts of the country, but this is the worst gas prices we've seen forever. And will that 3% from Russia pay, some factor in it? Yes, but that much? It was already up well over $1 on average before any of this started. So you can go and try to blame him, but that it was already up before. Like inflation was all his fault, even though it was way up, like over. But it was over 7.9% by the time any of this started. It was over that, I think. It was still way up until he got there. So even when people got raises, like I got my yearly annual cost of living thing from the VA, and it went up, but I still have less money. Just because the price of everything is, you get all that, gas is like, oh, well, only gas. Yeah. Except you need that and stuff to like fuel, power plants and how they get all that stuff. Yeah. It affects everything, which is why everything's going up because people are idiots and they could say they have 9,000 land leases all they want. How many of them actually have working, permits to drill? They're allowed to, because they did stop all kinds of new stuff all over federal and public lands like day one. They did it. So they could say there's all these permit, like land leases, all they want. How many of them are actually have permits and are cleared to drill? True story. Like that's the funny. They're not telling you that part. They'll tell you how many land leases there are. How many permits did you guys approve on them? 3% is going to cost. Yeah, that big of a spike, especially when it was already up over $1. But they keep telling you that, and inflation's all, like homelessness is on the rise. Yeah, there's so much everything. The cost of everything, like it's just so bad. When all they've had is 14 months, but they say it's going to be sad 2 years. If we take over Congress, like you actually have to be out of your mind to believe any of that. Sorry to anyone that does. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. And like, it'll be sad if we, take over. What the hell is having the worst border numbers in forever? First, most overdose ever. All those drugs being way up, crime and murder rates being way up. Afghanistan, Ukraine, everything we did to piss off our allies like France and Mexico and all the people in South America that are calling it Biden's thing. Yeah. When it comes to the border thing, like that's his thing because, the way he is in his policy and all that, he's the border president, the immigrant president, the migrant president, whatever the hell, everything they've called him. Price of everything, gas, like everything's worse. So what the hell is it now? It's going to be a sad 2 years. What the hell is it like right now? Because we are well beyond sad right now. Wait, like this is pathetic and embarrassing. And there's countries like Saudi Arabia saying that they might stop using the US dollar and switch to the yen because our dollar is just gutted. Because, most of the money we've had the last couple of years has all been printed by the trillion because we didn't have any. If you actually look at deficit or know anything, you'll see this. So it's just going to keep getting worse, and we're just being, thrown around by the whole world. When the yen starts taking over things instead of the US dollar, which is what it always was, like that's just China getting more power, and we all know who did it. We all know who wanted it to happen. We all told you I wanted it to happen, and here it is. I mean, like everything's worse to include COVID when you had vaccines. Like nothing is better. So again, if that's going to be sad if the Republicans take over Congress, what is it right now? Because it's pretty abysmal. It's in the pits right now. and it's literally hurting everyone. And they could say, there's idiots I know like Drew and all that. "Oh, I could afford all the gas at once, so I don't care." Like, yeah, but the people that aren't physically allowed to work and stuff and are on fixed incomes, like this is gutting them because they only get so much and they're not allowed to work. So what are they doing? They're completely screwed because of it, because you only think about yourselves, and that's really the problem. That was loud with that whole side over there. They don't think about anyone besides themselves, but they're still good. So screw it. Who cares what it does to other people? Whether it's friends, family, anyone, who cares? This doesn't affect them, which is the most garbage way to really think about anything, really. I mean, believe it or not, world, there's more people, that matter in the world than just you. There's other people being affected, which are probably your friends and loved ones. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I still, I mean, drizzling craps, I guess. Like, it's just so bad right now. And it's not going to be sad 2 years if we get control. Because we all know everyone on the left is going to have a nuclear eruption, because they still are now. Like, they're just going to freak out for 2 years. That's all they really know how to do. But none of this is good. Everything's actually worse. Like, there's polls for race relations are worse and everything. So I really have no idea what they're talking about and why people buy into it. Because all you have to do is look at the numbers and everything, and it proves it all for you. It proves everything we've been saying, and does it really, really easily. Like, look how many things I just named there: borders, drugs, overdoses, homicides, assaults, Afghanistan, stuff in Ukraine, COVID, jobs numbers, inflation, gas prices. Like, everything's worse. So take that and shove it. You got to be nuts. Numbers are very, very clear. So I'm going to jump off after saying that, though, because I can keep going. But sad 2 years, though. There's everything. There's not even everything. There's a bunch of the stuff that they suck at. Supply chain problems. Let's not forget them. Those, lots of things suck. And, take responsibility of it. Think about other people and realize how bad everything is just by the decisions of some idiots that, don't think about anyone but themselves and still think everything's good, which is terrifying. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. No matter where you are, don't forget to share it out. Follow along Apple, Google Podcast, Spotify, the Facebook page, videos, YouTube, Rumble, Cloud Hub. Yeah, Truth is on there. Right Only, Getter, Parlor when I remember to do it. MeWe. I do TikTok videos once in a while. I'm all over the place. So please follow along. If you just go on YouTube and Rumble, just follow there. Like the videos, comment on them. Helps, bump me up the list for things. And really, just share it out to everyone. Even if you don't do it from the direct Facebook page, you could share out the link to groups and stuff, and that helps grow it too, so we can keep doing this thing better. If you ever want to come on, please let me know that too. I'll sit down and have a conversation with just about anyone on this stuff, as long as I can stay calm and don't try to be a nuclear bomb on me, because I still do like TL, believe it or not. So it's not going to make me do that. But enjoy the rest of your week. I'll be back on Friday unless anything really catastrophic happens. Who knows? The way everything's going right now, it could. But be good to each other. Enjoy your week. Hopefully you can. The weather's good and all that. But be good to one another. Share it out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Until Friday, my friends. Like always, peace.